Larry Gainey. We have a game here called Gainey's Math Box Game. Okay, you have your box that the game is in, and you also have your rules, which I will explain in a second. All right, you take the game out of the box, unfold it, and you also have your caps that you're going to need in order to play the game. All right, let's say you have about 4 people, okay? And each person will start on 1. You have to establish yourself and the people who are playing, who's going to go first, who's going to go second, who's going to go third, fourth, and so on. The object of the game is to start on 1, go around in sequence, not only to 21, but back to 1. All right, again, go around in sequence to 21 and back to 1, but you're going to run into some obstacles, and part of that obstacle is what we call the cooler. If you're laying inside that cooler, you cannot proceed until someone knocks you out. All right, you see I have here in these aquatic figures here, +1, -1, +1, -2. If you shoot and land inside there, then of course in this case, you'll add 1 point. And in this case, you'll lose a point. In this case, you'll lose 2 points, okay? So you want to try to avoid certain places on the box. All right, or on the game board. Nevertheless, each person will start on 1 and will shoot for 2. You must establish yourself into 2 before you can hit anyone along the way. So, for example, if there's 4 people playing, 1 shoots for 2, most people are going to miss and they're going to need a second turn. Now notice that I actually hit this person here, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because I haven't gotten to 2 yet. All right? You keep shooting until you get into 2. All right? Sometimes you can hunch. Keep playing until you get yourself into 2. Now, let's say I establish myself into 2. So, we have something that we call spanning. Spanning is when you establish yourself inside the box and you put your finger on your cap and their cap and you also tap them and hit them. Well, that is worth 2 points. Well, 2 and 2 is 4. I'll go to 4 and I can shoot for 5. But I also have the option of hitting someone here. Why? Because I've already established myself into 2. Now, again, I can shoot for 5 or I could try to hit one of these persons here. And then I would automatically go to 5. For example, let's suppose that I try to hit someone here and I missed. Well, then the next person will go and try to establish themselves into 2. And the sequence keeps going. Now, just for an example, suppose that you have a situation where someone's here and it's your turn and you hit a person, and let's suppose that this person is hit inside that cooler. Well, the person who is hit inside that cooler must stay inside that cooler until someone knocks them out. The person who hit the person inside the cooler is worth 5 points. Now, if along the way you find yourself hitting someone outside the cooler, that is worth 7 points. All right? So again, you're going from 1 to 21 and back to 1 in sequence. But you can get 2 by spanning, 5 by hitting someone inside the cooler, 7 by hitting someone outside the cooler accordingly. Again, object of the game is to get to 21 and back to 1. That's it. Thank you. All right. Now, everyone is going to start on number 1. And what happens is you are going to work your way around the board game all the way to 21 in sequence back to 1. But since there's 4 of you, we're going to try to cut some of that time. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go to 21 and it's going to be the first person who gets to 21 wins the game. But you got to go in sequence. And there are obstacles in the way. For example, do you see that big blue sort of watery aqua square in the middle? That's called the cooler. You do not want to get in there. Now, you get in the cooler, that means that you cannot go again until someone knocks you out of that cooler. Now, you may pluck the cap or top, and you may get in that cooler yourself, or someone may hit you in that cooler. Now, here's the rules. If someone hits you in that cooler, then the person who does that hitting, that they get 5 points. The person who knocks you out of that cooler gets 7 points. Okay? Now, there is something that is called spanning. Okay? Let me show you how that goes. Let's say the person is in 2. You guys with me? All right. Now, if you're in 2 or any block and there's a cap near you, once you establish yourself in a block, you will put your finger on your cap and their cap, tap, and then hit them. Okay? That is 2 points. Now, let's suppose you span them, tap them, hit them, and they wind up, let's say, in that cooler. Well, if you span them, I told you spanning is how many points? 2. 2. No, that's okay because we're going to go where you're going. What did I say if someone hits you in that cooler? How many points is that?
7.
That's 5. 5. Well, we're going to go where you're going because altogether it will be how many points?
7.
That's right. So it's a little bit of math here involved. You not only have to know where you were, you also need to know once you hit someone, where do you go? Once you've gotten a certain amount of points, okay? So if I was in 2 and I span that person and I hit them inside the cooler, and you told me that was 7 points, so how much is 2 and 7? That's right, so now you go to 9. You don't stop until you miss. I'll say it again. You keep going until you miss. It's always your turn until you miss. Okay? Now, when you're first of all shooting for your block and you miss, well, of course, it's the other person's turn. Now, you all need to, amongst yourself, establish who goes first, who goes second, who goes third, who goes fourth. Okay? Totally up to you all. Okay? And you got to go in that sequence. Now, remember what I said. Once you get in that cooler, well, if no one knocks you out, then you have to stay in there and you lose a turn. So you want to avoid that at all costs. Yes, ma'am. Very good question. She said, what if you get into one of those oval aqua spots? You see that where it says +1, -1, and so forth and so on? Well, if someone hits you there, the only way that it is a +1 or -1, or in some cases, it's a -2. The only way that you're affected with that is if you shoot in there by accident. If you shoot in there by accident, well, it's a -1 or a -2 or +1, whatever it says in there, okay? But no one, of course, purposely does that, all right? But if you shoot in there by accident, then you have to, abide by the rules, all right? Now, I know it's going to be very challenging to you because it's not easy to digest and to understand everything I'm saying. So you're going to have questions along the way. Feel free. I expect for you to have questions along the way, okay? Now, every time you hit someone, I need to share this with you. Every time you hit someone with your cap, that's worth 1 point, okay? Now, you automatically go to the next block that you're on. In other words, if you're on 5 and you hit somebody, well, now you go to 6 automatically. Okay? Now, keep in mind that spanning rule, okay? Because that's going to get you more points. First person to 21 wins. All right? Now, have you guys established amongst yourself who's going first, second, third, and fourth? Okay, very good. Okay, so I need everyone on 1. Everyone starts on 1.
Okay.
Everyone put your cap on 1, please.
Okay, so if you...
So, now, I know part of this is hand and eye coordination. All right, and I know that you're not used to this, okay? But what you can do is...
Spanning is 2 points.
Spanning is 2 points.
And what's the other ones that you wait for?
Once you're hit inside the cooler, once you are hit inside the cooler,
You get 5 points.
you get 5 points. Very good. Once you are hit outside.
O-O-L-A.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. You should put it before cooler, hit inside the cooler is 5 points. And hit outside the cooler is 7 points. Okay? Now, people, I know that you're not used to using, your fingers to pluck caps and so forth, but now you're going to have that opportunity. Okay? Now, you're going to miss sometimes, and that's okay. You're going to have some questions. Don't worry about it. Let's just have some fun. Okay? All right, you have a question, let me know. All right, and the person who goes first, well, go ahead. You're going to shoot for 2. Now, listen up. This is extremely important. It doesn't matter. Listen up. This is important. If you hit someone before 2, that doesn't matter. You must get into block 2 before you can do anything, except that cooler. If you miss and you get into that cooler by yourself, well, you're in there until someone knocks you out. Yes? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's what you want to do. As long as you don't go in there and stay in there. Right. You can really shoot it any way you want. You can hedge it. You can pluck it. Whatever's convenient for you. All right? However you are comfortable with shooting that cat, and that's going to happen too. That's the whole purpose of these bars, these bars up here, okay? It's so that the cap doesn't come off the board. But if it does come off the board, just put it on the edge, okay? All right? Yep. Okay. All right. So everyone is shooting for 2. Go for it. Okay. Yes.
So you gotta go 1 at a time. First, second, third.
Yup, first, second, and third. Now, if you don't get it, you gotta wait. You gotta wait.
It's
Yup.
like golfing. You get real close.
Whoa. Whose is this? Who just got in? Oh, okay. I thought you made it. What's this person?
I plugged it in the wheel.
Look, if you want more points, you spank. Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. So now, how many points do you get? 2. You get 2, right? So this is your cat, right? So now you're on 4. It's still her turn. See, it's the other person's turn until they miss. Now, you can shoot for 5. Okay? All right? Now, you also have the option of hitting it, but it's up to you. You can shoot for 5, or you can try to hit them. Now, who's after her? Okay, all right. But you keep the same sequence. Up. You see what that says? Right.
All right, check this out.
What happened?
I said you
You gotta be inside.